So President Obama responded to Vladimir Putin's advances in eastern Ukraine, and he wanted to let him know who's boss. Let's go to an interview here he did with CBS.
Sounds like you're saying Vladimir Putin is trying to provoke a civil war.
Well, what I'm saying is that the Russians generally have not been respecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. And that's not simply my opinion, that's world opinion. The question now becomes whether or not this can be de-escalated and resolved in a way that gives Ukrainians a chance to make their own decisions about their own lives. Now, what we have said consistently is that we're not going to see a military resolution to this problem. Ukraine's not a NATO ally, but we do have a stake, as every country around the world has a stake in upholding basic international norms and basic international rules. So what we're going to be doing is working closely with not just our European allies, but allies around the world and partners around the world, sending a strong message to Russia that there are consequences to this. And I think it's very important because we haven't seen enough of this in some of the reporting. What Mr. Putin's been doing, he does out of sense of weakness, not strength.
Yeah, not buying it. Okay, now when he says there's going to be consequences, that portion I believe relatively, right? Because he's saying there's going to be economic consequences. Ukraine's not a NATO, but they're going to turn up the pressure. And in fact, they're negotiating over that today, right? So that part I believe. When he says this is done out of weakness, look, you might say that it's a terrible idea, which I think it is. You might say it breaks international law, etc., right? Like Iraq was a terrible idea and it broke international law. But we didn't do it out of weakness. We did it because we were a bull in a china shop. Same thing with Putin. He just took Crimea. You could spin it any way you like, but it's not really weakness. It's many other important things, but not that. But Obama's about to take it over the top. He's like, oh yeah, you want to mess with us? Here you go.
What message do you think Vladimir Putin was trying to send you and the U.S. military by having a Russian fighter jet buzz a U.S. warship? Is he mocking you and the U.S. military?
I have to tell you that everybody around the world understands the superiority of our military. And as Commander-in-Chief, I don't make decisions based on perceived signals. We make decisions very deliberately based on what's required for our security and for the security of our allies. The Russians understand that. They're not interested in any kind of military confrontation with us, understanding that our conventional forces are significantly superior to the Russians. We don't need a war.
Damn, we are significantly superior, and the Russians understand that. All right, and do they? Well, when asked for a response, Vladimir Putin said, oh, okay, I see, I understand. We actually have him on tape responding about eastern Ukraine in specific.
I has it.
Well, he seems kind of bold there. It doesn't seem like he was much intimidated by the president. In fact, during his 4-hour TV appearance, Putin had a little moment that was obviously staged where a 6-year-old girl asked him, oh, how sweet, oh, schmoopy papoopy, whether Obama would save him if he was drowning, okay? And Putin said, he is a decent and brave man. He would do it. Okay, so that's his moment of like, oh no, it's okay. You know, Obama's a decent guy, don't worry about it. And then they joked about how they might take Alaska. Now, wait a minute. Now, before you think, oh, come on, dude, that's crazy, right? Think about this. Back in the 1800s, Alaska was Russian. Remember, we bought it from for about a little over $7 million in gold. It was called Seward's Folly because at the time, the Secretary of State was Seward, and Americans were like, why'd you buy Alaska? You're crazy. And then, of course, they found gold there, and then they found oil there, and the Russians were like, oops. And so now, in the past, the Russians have taken different pieces of land that they thought was previously theirs from Georgia and now from Ukraine, right? So they asked him about Alaska. Let's find out his answer.
Are you planning to acquire Alaska as well? You know, people are calling ice Crimea, calling Alaska ice Crimea instead of ice cream. That's like plain words.
Dear Faina, what would you need Alaska for? We are a northern country, Nordic country. 70% of our territory is in the north and high north. Alaska, is it in the south? It's quite cold up there. Let's not be over enthusiastic about it.
Let's not be overly enthusiastic about it. Look, you have to understand this TV appearance, every part of it was staged. All the questions were staged. He knew how the questions were going to be framed. He knew what his answers were going to be. So it's not an accident that all of a sudden oh, did we mention Alaska? Or as we call it, Ice Crimea. We eat it for dessert. It's yummy in our tummy.
I has it.
Hey, take it easy, Vlad. Take it easy.
I jump in it.
Okay, all right, big guy. So now, in reality, of course, they're not going to go after Alaska, but that's Putin's way of saying, hey, you better watch yourself, man. Okay, you think you're untouchable? I'll come over and touch you. And here's what you don't want: Vladimir Putin touching you.